Hi, thank you for joining us today. How are you all?
Good,
Great,
thanks.
thanks.
Well,
Good. And are you ready to discuss all things related to hydrogen-powered transport?
Yes, super excited.
yes, we are.
As always.
Great. Let's get started. First of all, let's start with the basics. Cedric, can you tell us about hydrogen, what it is, and why it's an important part of the decarbonized energy mix?
Yeah, sure. So hydrogen is the most common molecule in the universe. So everybody knows that, or at least many people. And H2 is for mobility is also known since several decades, since long time. But with the importance of the decarbonization, actually, it's a strong advantage to work with hydrogen because it is having zero emission at the exhaust pipe of the vehicles once it is mixed with the air within the fuel cells, and then producing the electricity for the vehicles to move. So yeah, this is very important element for or segment for this decarbonization in the energy mix.
Perfect. And as you mentioned there, it's becoming more widely popular. Can you tell us, is it already being used as a fuel? And then who's using it and where? Where is it more popular for particular segments within the industry?
Yes, it's already in the recent years, the hydrogen has been used. The green hydrogen application is increasing. Is mainly for applications of fleets, so heavy duty trucks, so heavy duty vehicles, and we are start to seeing this growing as stations. Not only started in Asia, but also now in Europe. There is a high growth and demand for this application. So it's definitely growing, and we can say that the main users will be mostly fleet operators, could be private or public, and also some light duty vehicles applications as well.
So we know there are different types of hydrogen, for instance, blue and green. Domenico, would you be able to kind of give us more insight on what the difference is between the two?
Yes, concerning the origin, the hydrogen is divided in different colors depending on the origin and the source of this hydrogen. So it could be from different methane on gas applications, natural gas applications. So you can have colors, different, let's say, colors. The one that we're really concentrating for the future application in mobility is the green hydrogen that comes from renewable resources. So normally you will have water, wind, solar, let's say, sourcing that generates the electricity, and that electricity is the one that then will generate the green hydrogen. So in this moment, we're focusing on that and all the directives, all the incentives and programs to promote the application of mobility are aimed at green hydrogen.
Interesting. And earlier this year, the European Union reached an agreement for the deployment of alternative fuels infrastructure. What exactly does this mean for the industry?
Yeah, indeed. The discussion started a long time ago, and we are glad to hear now or to see that it is reaching a hand. It is at least providing a minimum guideline for having a proper H2 network to be deployed across Europe, and this is going to support strongly then this mobility segment. So yeah, we are welcoming this regulation to be adopted.
And Cedric, Simon, can you tell us how this will impact hydrogen adoption across Europe?
So yeah, let me start, and then you can add, Simon. That indeed this is really a boost for the hydrogen segment. However, this is a start, and we will need much more to make sure that hydrogen can be deployed efficiently across the regions. But yeah, it's a good start, as I said.
What I especially like about it is that it brings some alignment, so it brings some safety to the producers, to the station operators, that we see, okay, there will definitely be stations, there will definitely be consumers. This makes us confident to go further into this material.
To this note that is very important also the European and the government initiatives because when you introduce a new source of energy, a new application, then definitely this part of the incentives is important, both let's say financially, but also a push to find a regulation, a framework, a regulation that is common to everybody, that is harmonized and is a standard that everybody follows. So it's very important this European action and also government action, so in each country.
Simon, can you go into a bit more detail about why hydrogen is being seen purely for commercial transport, such as long-haul and heavy-duty vehicles?
Definitely both solutions are available. So we are able to fuel, to dispense hydrogen for passenger cars as well as for heavy-duty trucks, buses as well. We see a shift. We can say hydrogen started as a fuel typically for passenger cars, for light-duty vehicles. But now there's the interesting shift that we say the heavy-duty transport will benefit hugely from hydrogen because it is the CO2 effective solution for the long haul. It reduces the fueling time, of course, so it should be as close as possible to conventional diesel fueling for the trucks concerning the time. So you don't have to hang on the plug for a full night to get the next 800 kilometers of range for your truck. So that's why it's very interesting for heavy duty transport. But definitely there's also the option to fuel light-duty vehicles.
Okay. What is needed to make hydrogen more accessible and considered a mainstream fuel for heavy-duty and light passenger vehicles?
Well, for the complete setup, for the complete economy, in my opinion, there are three factors. First of all, we need the consumers. This would be the cars, the trucks, the buses. But then we also need the infrastructure, of course, so the fueling stations that the vehicles get the hydrogen. Yeah, and to make this all commercially interesting, there must be a business case, of course, so it must be economical. So definitely we need an alignment. This is happening quite well at the moment, so that the station builders, that the network operators, as well as the truck producers, the passenger car producers are aligned. Secondly, I think it's important to have technological development. This is also what we see happening at the moment with fundings from the EU, with fundings also from other programs worldwide that really improve the efficiency of the fuel, improve the efficiency of the complete consumption, and with this lowering the price of the hydrogen and making it interesting on a commercial level.
Of course.
Domenico, I have a question for you. What are the potential breaks to speeding up hydrogen use globally?
Well, there are some, like we were saying before, there are some challenges to face in the value chain. We start from the hydrogen, green hydrogen supply. So that's very important. At first, you need to create an availability of the raw material, so the green hydrogen. So that's one important challenge. In this moment, all the players and the operators and suppliers are moving into this first step because it's the essential step to generate the hydrogen. Then you have all the technology for the mobility applications, so all the sites and the stations, the hydrogen refueling stations, that technology is available, is safe, is field proven, so that's there. And then another challenge is at the end of the value chain, and as we were saying before, is to have a business case, the off-takers, the fleet operators, private and public, that find beneficial to invest, to use the hydrogen for their transportation needs, and this must be economically feasible, profitable, and there must be the right business case. So these are delicate points that we need to consider. And also, of course, regulations are very important to make everything easier and more standard. So This could be some challenges, let's say more than obstacles. I would say the challenge is to make at the end of the value chain, the off-takers must have a business case to use the hydrogen.
Yeah, makes sense.
And Domenico, when we talk about hydrogen, and not often it's kind of mentioned in the industry that safety is a concern. So what can consumers expect when and if they refuel with a hydrogen vehicle? Is it safe?
Hydrogen has been around in the industry for many other applications. Now we recently are talking about transportation and mobility applications, but has been around for many other applications in other industries. There is already a well-known technology that is available in the market. In particular, for the mobility application, definitely all the equipment and the technology is field proven. You know that with hydrogen you need to go to high pressures, so normally 350 bars up to 700 bars. So all the components, all the equipment are tested for high pressure, let's say regulation and standards. All the equipment is tested before delivery, is tested on the ground, and so far the experience on the ground has been, let's say, positive, very safe. So I would say all the measures to guarantee the safety for the users are there, going from the fabrication, manufacturing, all the way to the final application on the sites, on the stations.
So it's safe to say that someone transitioning from a conventional fueled car to a hydrogen fueled car, there is no concern for safety. It would be almost the same process, just with slight tweaks.
Yes, I will say that there is no issues. Already in the transportation sector, we have other applications, let's say similar, not exactly similar, but let's say similar, like CNG, compressed natural gas, is a high pressure application for mobility. We have liquefied natural gas is another application. These applications are already there and are in the market. So hydrogen is a newcomer, but is safe and will have the same type of, let's say, approach and conditions similar to these other alternative fuels. So there will not be a shock or major impact for the operators and users.
And is there a particular reason why some of these countries are leading the way over others, Cedric?
There is not a direct straight answer. There is multiple reasons, and I'm sure Domenico and Simon can also comment that. But we can talk about, and I can start with mainly OEMs, vehicles OEMs. Definitely, when I was talking about Japan, this was really pushed by I would say Toyota. Germany, we know that it's a country very known in terms of expertise around the mobility. So definitely this is one of the reasons. But we have multiple ones like politics, environmental constraints or requirements. I don't know, Domenico, do you have other ones in mind?
Yes, there are different reasons. It can be government incentives or programs related to the ambient and ecological, let's say, reasons, like we say. But then also another important aspect is the experience that you have in compression of gas. We're talking about high pressure compression. There are some countries which traditionally had been leading historically the gas compression industry and technologies. For example, Italy, Germany, and other countries have that expertise. They are very familiar with that technology, so it's much easier to adopt an energy like hydrogen, also due to that reason.
And one point I would like to add here, also worth to consider, is the environmental awareness of some countries. So in my opinion, there were some countries who were earlier with recognizing the challenge of climate change, but also then recognizing the economic opportunity of energy transition and of the hydrogen economy. So this is also a reason why some countries were earlier in adopting alternative fuels and hydrogen as such.
Okay, thank you.
So, is it possible to integrate hydrogen dispensers on existing forecourts, or do they need to be separate from other fuels?
Okay, it's possible to have hydrogen in the station together with other fuels or conventional fuels. So you can have a multi-fuel station combined with hydrogen, but you still always need to have the source of hydrogen present at the site. So you cannot, let's say, retrofit or have hydrogen on the station if you don't have the source of hydrogen already at the station. So let's say that the concept is to conceive the station of hydrogen since the beginning for the application of hydrogen. So you need to have always that generation of the hydrogen on the site, which could be two trailers coming to the station, or also could be electrolyzer at the site, could be another source. So the answer is possible to have a multi-fuel station with hydrogen? Yes, it's possible, but you need to conceive the station since the start for hydrogen application because you need the hydrogen sourcing equipment and layout.
Okay, and I guess that kind of leads on to my following question is that for fuel retailers looking to invest in hydrogen, what exactly they need to take into consideration. So whether that's infrastructure, space, or investment, is there anything else, or can you go
So,
into more detail about them?
so yeah, good question. And indeed, today conventional fuels is a commodity market, commodity product, and hydrogen is really at the beginning of its journey. So we have we have to have in mind that for hydrogen, the life cycle process is much longer. And sometimes it's not rare to see several years between the first start, the first thought, and the commissioning and grand opening for hydrogen. And this is going through different stages. So the design, the permit, the supply chain, and so on. So there is different challenges so far today because it's really not yet fully deployed. It doesn't mean it is more difficult. It is more complex compared to conventional fuels because there is an infrastructure which is slightly different. Now we are talking about for bringing the hydrogen on the station. We are talking about the storages, different ones. It could be gas or it could be liquid hydrogen. We're talking about compressors as well to reach up to 1,000 bar for storages. And then we're talking about chillers to cool down the hydrogen depending on the capacity and the capability we want to have on these stations and the back-to-back filling. And finally, you have the dispensers. So everything is a bit more complex, but not more difficult. And this is anyway going to drag more, to take more time to achieve. So everything has to be well thought from the beginning. But yeah, it's after that, I would say it's not rocket science.
I would like also to add to this comment the fact that the operator of the station needs to always consider its own business case and the final application and demand he will have in that station, which will be the off-takers, number of vehicles that will be coming to the station, type of vehicles, tank sizes, demand per day in kilos of hydrogen, back-to-back fillings. So in his business case, besides the economical equipment, technology considerations that Cedric was mentioning before, which are of course very important, is also what is going to be the final business case, the peak demand, the application that he's going to have on that site.
Okay.
Exactly. And I could add on top of that, indeed, the price of a station can vary a lot depending on this capacity which is required, definitively. So if you are asking 100 kilogram a day or several tons per day, this is going to have a huge impact on the budget of a station.
And Simon, Domenico mentions that it's easier, not rocket science, for hydrogen to be included on the forecourt. Cedric reiterated that in the question previous, but is it easy for dispensers to integrate with existing forecourt systems, for example, payment and loyalty?
This is exactly where our experience comes in. Dover Fueling Solutions has been building dispensers, forecourt ecosystems, so everything that the stations needs for more than 100 years. Our customers are typically station network operators on a small level, on a medium level, but even on a multinational or global level. So considering our existing customers, it was one of our focus points to make the hydrogen system easy integratable into the existing networks and the stations. So we really have a flawless integration with the standard communication protocols to the forecourt controller, to the point of sale systems, but also DX systems and the remote management of the station. So for our customers, of course, that's the best way to have one and the same system for the complete station, even for a complete station network, where they can handle the traditional fuels, diesel, gasoline, CNG, but at the same time, the new alternative fuels, EV charging, LNG, or especially now hydrogen. So it was one of our focus points to have the easy integration into the existing systems.
Great. And Domenico, can you tell us a bit more about what hydrogen products DFS currently offers?
Yes, like Simon was saying before, we have the possibility to offer a complete solution on all the different applications that are needed in a retail or station, filling station. Our focus is in hydrogen is mainly on the dispenser technology and the cooling system. These are two products where we have the know-how, the technology, and the experience. So definitely we can bring all the solutions regarding that application. But we are also very flexible because with hydrogen, many projects are also customized, project driven. So depends a lot also on the customer needs and the final end user application. So we're also able to provide a complete station solution, turnkey solution. So also other equipment that integrates with our dispensers and our cooling system. So for example, after the offloading of the hydrogen, we can have the compression systems, the compression containers, we can have the storages, and then that combined with our dispensers, our cooling system, and the remote monitoring SCADA system. So we can go from the complete package if needed by the customer. Otherwise, we focus on our core technology, which is basically the complete ecosystem that we offer in a filling station.
Thank you.
And what makes the DFS hydrogen dispenser different from others available on the market?
Very, very good question. So DFS is bringing several centuries of experience within conventional fuels and several decades within alternative energies like LPG, like CNG, like LNG. And we also recently acquired or made an acquisition on a company expert in LNG and hydrogen to help us in developing faster hydrogen solution. So we are bringing a strong experience, strong safety experience, and also within regulations, which is really a motto for us. And I was talking about safety earlier. You were asking me this. So this is really, really something on which we are sensitive. Then also the solution we're bringing is a modern look and also fitting perfectly within the ecosystem of the installations, because we're using also a design well known by your customer. So this is something that we consider that the customer or customers are willing to have. And with this also user interface, which can be chosen, is also really bringing hydrogen. DFS hydrogen solution in fitting with the requirement of having something new versus conventional fuels. And it was mentioned earlier by Simon regarding to forecourt system payment and so on. So clearly we have the possibility via DFS to bring this complete ecosystem for the stations, and this is also where we are strong and we can bring a lot of expertise.
And I guess the final question I wanted to address it for all our panelists today is that, in your opinion, how do you see the demand for hydrogen progressing over the next 5 years?
Definitely, we see a high growth trend for the application of hydrogen. This process started in the past 2-3 years, mainly, for example, in Europe, which is now in this moment the market that is focusing more on hydrogen. This trend will continue and will increase sharply because we have all the directives, incentives from the European Union, different governments. Each country is launching an incentive program to fund this application. So really there is almost now in Europe no country without an incentive program in this direction, and hydrogen is really the one that is receiving the most attention in this moment, together with other alternative fuels. So this trend will grow, and I think will be a sharp growth. And as we have other aspects of the value chain improving, it will grow even faster. And I mean, once you have the green hydrogen supply available and really expanded, and you have the OEM vehicles, the fleet vehicles available in the market with a reasonable good business case, that will be the turning point to even trigger a higher growth. That will be very important. So I see a high growth trend. The expectations are very high, and I think my colleagues can also add more to this topic.
I can only agree here. Yeah, we see a growth at the moment already. We see that this is still being accelerated by huge investments, by regulations on a global scale, by funding programs. Examples we talked earlier in the EU, but also North America, in Australia. So really around the world, there are heavy investments. There is technological development. So this growth that we see at the moment will even be accelerated. So we do expect an exponential growth over the next 5 years.
So I can only concur with what has been said by Domenico and Simon. What is also helping or will help hydrogen to grow in the next 5 years, but also beyond that, is that hydrogen is not only impacting fuel retails, it's also addressing other requirements in other industry type. So this is going to help definitively. Now, for mobility, what we need also to consider how the different politics, governments are going to push as well this, because this can come only with incentive, because this is a heavy investment. We can make a comparison as well to BEV, so electrical cars. So far today, it's growing definitively. We cannot deny that, but this is also with the help of incentives. So it will be the same situation for hydrogen if we have these funds. Also, it will come from OEMs and the development of a new technology, and how it's going to be stable in the next year. So definitively, hydrogen is growing, more to come, but it's just, and we can see it is just at the beginning of its journey.